Hey guys, what's going on? So in today's video, I'm extremely excited because in the video today, I'm going to be talking about this new pair of Parkhursts that I just got in. These are known as the Parkhurst ELMWOOD boot. Andrew announced a couple new models recently through Parkhurst, and both are just stunning. The first one that I'm going to talk about are these Chelseas here. This is the Parkhurst ELMWOOD boot in mahogany on the 602 M last, which means modified last. They currently retail for $398. So this is our first ever Chelsea boot, the ELMWOOD, using a custom Parkhurst full grain upper leather with the help of our partner tannery in Spain. This article is a combination chrome and vegetable tan bovine leather, creating a reddish brown colorway. It is hot, stuffed with natural oils and waxes to help with water resistance and makes for easy cleaning and conditioning. Some may find this leather to be quite similar to Chrome XL due to similarities in the tanning process. Crafted using a tighter fiber Gore-Tex weave than usual, this pattern helps to ensure your ankle stays locked in place without letting the Gore-Tex fabric stretch out too fast. The 602 last is aimed at a balance with a focus on more natural support. This last is the modified version of our 602 last. The modifications include a small addition of width in the pinky toe area, along with a slight addition of depth in the vamp and toe box. The Chelsea's sizing runs a bit large to help accommodate slightly wider foot types, and given traditional Chelsea patterns run a bit narrow, sizing for many has ran a full size down from your typical sneaker size, or a half size down from Brannick if you're a single D or E width. For those with low volume feet and or low insteps, we suggest going a full size down from your Brannick size. If you have a double E width foot, we suggest using your Brannick size in this style. Depending on other brands you may have fit into, taking a labeled wide width, it is possible, and we have seen so far our customers fit comfortably into our boots at the same size without the over addition of length. Naturally, this may vary from person to person, so we encourage chatting about sizing prior to selecting a size for purchase. Our build focuses on enhanced breathability and shock absorption in a more natural way by using more vegetable tanned leather components. These components include vegetable tan leather bends, leather insole, midsole, welt, heel counters, and heel stack. It's got steel shank and cork filler, a 360-degree Goodyear welt construction, its hide, commando lugged sole, and heel top lift. So the 602 modified last is used for Chelsea and mock toe boots in order to support the traditionally narrower pattern for both of them. The difference between the two is the 602 modified last has a touch more depth in the toe box and width in the pinky toe area. Sizing for this and the 602 has been consistent between D and single E width, as measured on Brannick. So in practice, we believe in making our footwear with manufacturers who create the best quality boots and components we can find, keeping in mind production, sustainability, and environmental impact. Globalizing our supply chain has allowed us to use better quality components such as steel shanks and different vegetable tan leathers while incorporating products in the US as well. We are grateful to work with some of the best factories and components manufacturers in the industry to help make our boots and produce needed components to our specifications. Working with both suppliers and manufacturers in the USA and now Spain has helped us produce the best boots we've made so far. So a little bit about the introduction of sourcing the leather from Spain. So because of COVID 2020, 2021, I don't need to rehash everything that happened. The supply chain issue hurt Parkhurst a lot. And so that's why we saw a sharp decrease in offerings that Andrew was running, as well as his need to shift. Mark Albert Boots just recently announced that they were shutting down, also because of the supply chain issues. Thankfully, Andrew found a way to stay afloat and to keep business rolling by outsourcing to Spain. I think that's a very smart move. There's a lot of really good footwear manufacturers in Europe, tanners, boot makers, and the like. When he says in the description that they were able to produce the best footwear they've made to date, I actually have to agree. These might be my favorite pair of Parkhurst boots so far. This leather is insane. It does remind me of Chrome XL, though it doesn't have the same smell. It smells very good. It's a very rich leather, a very rich deep brown leather, insanely good. One thing I really like about this Chelsea in particular that a lot of people don't do is the double pull tabs here. That really helps get in and out of the boot. One thing that I always typically find with Chelsea boots is getting in and out of them, if I size correctly, getting in and out of them is very difficult at first. And so having these two pull tabs made the world of difference. If the boot is too big, then typically my foot just slips in there, no problem, and then it's too floppy on the inside. And if it's too small, then I can't even get my foot past this shaft. My foot fits snugly through this. It is a bit of a struggle, but because of these two pull tabs, I get it in and it's just fine. The recommendation to go down a half size to stay consistent with the rest of your Parkhurst sizing, I do concur with. These do fit just a little bit more roomy than my other Parkhurst boots, and I'm gonna grab those right now. And so here are my other Parkhurst boots. All right, so here we have the Parkhurst Richmond boot in Ray's Reverse Waxed Mohawk, my very first pair. These are a size 8.5. I thought they did run a little small, but definitely the 8.5, the half down from Brannock. I'm a size 9 Brannock. These are definitely my right fit. They do just have that almond toe box, but it's a very good fit. And then these are my Parkhurst Allen boots in Natural Dublin. Just an insane pair of boots. They've patinated wonderfully so far. That Natural Dublin is just such a wonderful leather. I've wanted some for such a long time. I'm glad that they finally ran this. And then yeah, so these are my Parkhurst Delaware boots in Color 8 Dublin. Absolutely beautiful pair of boots. I love all three of these. So these do fit a little bit more roomy than the rest, but let's do a quick size comparison. So these are all size 8.5. So you can see there, the Delaware boots, the length is identical, but you can see there's maybe a little bit more volume going on in the vamp and maybe a bump in the toe box as well. Let's take a look at the toes. Actually, to me it looks like the Delaware boot actually has a little bit more width in the toe area right here in the ball area. So, but that would be offset by the larger instep on the Chelseas. Let's look at the Parkhurst Allen boot. So you see I'm doing right boot, right boot. Yeah, the length to me looks to be identical. Looks like there's just maybe, again, just a little bit more volume in the toe box, but these Allens, they are broken in. The toe box has collapsed, so take that into account. The Allen boot there is going to be more almond, narrowed out more towards the toe box, but again, what I'm seeing here based on the stitch lines, it could be an optical illusion based on the difference in soles. One has a day-night, one has an It's Hide Commando sole, but it looks like the Allen might just have just a little bit extra room here on the ball, but the last just looks a little different, but I would not suggest sizing any differently unless you fall into one of those exception categories that Andrew spoke of. Here we go, the Richmond boot in Ray's Reverse Waxed Mohawk. Again, same exact length, both 8.5. The Richmond boot is built on a Ridgeway sole, very nice. When I look at the boots from the top, it almost looks, when I look at the boots from the top down, it almost looks like the Chelsea does have more room in the ball area, but then when I look at the bottom, like I said, it could be an optical illusion, but it looks like, now actually this Richmond looks like it's got identical width in the forefoot. Long story short, it suggests sizing the same as your other Parkhurst. They didn't increase the length or the width too dramatically in any direction that I would say warrant sizing differently, unless you're not happy with the current size that you have. And so speaking about the production update, so Andrew just updated this literally today as I'm filming this. I'm seeing this just now. So he says, "Hey everybody, Andrew here, and I want to thank you for your patience and support during these transitioning times. I also want to let everyone know a bit more about the production and supply line delays which have occurred and what the plan is moving forward. I'm excited to say, thankfully, the end of these is nearing. As mentioned in my production update on the website these past few months from now, an opportunity to diversify supply chains in an effort to get production back on track and improve quality has arisen, and I will be taking it. With the labor and supply landscape here in the US, it is no longer possible to produce this exact type of boot from start to finish, up to the level of quality demanded as well as in the sizes asked for by customers. Many of the major manufacturers and suppliers with whom I have worked either had to close doors or relocate with no assurance of reopening anytime soon. This has been going on for almost 2 years now. The effects of this has been seen most prominently over the past year or so, mainly in the form of little to no inventory available. I have begun working with another US factory as well as factory in Spain the past 8 months to help get production back to where it needs to be, as well as improve the build of the boots themselves. The 602 last and existing patterns will continue to be used on all boots moving forward. This will be a new phase for the company. Below is what you will begin to see this fall. Upgraded components particularly shanks, heel counters, heels, and true cap toe patterns, all in a staggered release. Upgraded finishing on a few new dress models while still maintaining that rugged look, and finish on the core styles of Allen's and Richmond's. New patterns which have been asked for during the past 2 years. Due to the lack of technology and equipment here in the US needed to make some of the requested styles to specifications and quality asked for by customers, a few new styles mentioned in number 2 will be made in Spain and finishing touches made here in Western New York by myself. Logistics for this are still being worked out, but as of right now, I will be nailing the heels on every pair of boots here in Western New York, as I have always done, before I pack and ship them out to you. In addition to this, I'll be performing QC, burnishing, and other minor details and finishing the boots when needed. A small women's line will be using the same materials as the men's boots and the same 602 last, but sized for women's sizes. These will be one style in 2 different leathers. Wide widths offered in a small collection of core sizes for the Allen and Richmond boots. This one is still a WIP at the moment, but it is on the agenda and actively being developed right now. Wide widths are difficult to produce and scale due to many things, one of which the last and patterns needed to be changed for all tooling and instruments throughout the production process, which can take time. Custom Parkhurst outsoles for Allen's and Richmond's, which fit every size. One of the biggest challenges before, as many of you have seen, was trying to get most branded outsoles to fit every size of the Parkhurst 602 last, which wasn't possible. For example, Vibram only fits the 602 last up to size 9 in most heels, while Ridgeway soles fit up to a size 10.5 in the 602 last. The estimated production and schedule releases times, which could vary, will be in the middle to end of September, introduction of men's mock toe and men's Chelsea styles. End of October, staggered introduction of new Allen and Richmond boots as they finish up. So he says, moving forward, I set out to make a boot here in the USA from start to finish as much as possible and support the small American businesses with every penny I had. The goal has been accomplished. This transition to production in Spain will help ensure Parkhurst can continue to make quality boots for customers, as is in no way a means to cut production costs. In fact, the cost to produce is higher there due to increased cost of upgrading components build, as well as increased cost of labor for making this specific product. I still continue to do business with the small handful of remaining small businesses, manufacturers, and suppliers who are able to stay open and deliver whatever is needed to Parkhurst, not only during this time but moving forward as well. This will be done while working with another factory here in the US who will be finishing up part of this backlog from 2021. There's a chance that due to the closures of some of my original suppliers that this backlog might not be finished. Coincidentally, the newer factory with whom I will be working here in the US owns the factory in Spain and regularly sends workers back and forth from the US to Spain to work on production taking place in both locations, including mine. I will be present in both areas as well from time to time. Combined, the 2 factories have over 150 years of experience making Goodyear welted and other handmade leather boots and shoes. In fact, they own the tanneries too, who are helping to develop Parkhurst's own leathers for the future, particularly waxed suedes, which will be introduced this fall. With this new phase and these plans, I understand there will be questions which arise, so feel free to send me an email at info@parkhurst.com should you have any. I will still be running Parkhurst as a one-person company here in Buffalo, shipping your orders from my warehouse here, striving to provide great service and a better quality product for you. Quality control, shipping, website, emails, social media will still be performed right here by myself, as they always have been. So if you ever need anything, you'll know where to find me. Thank you for being a supporter of both myself and Parkhurst. I wouldn't be able to do this without all of you, and I certainly wouldn't have been able to get Parkhurst to where it is today without the help of the people in the industry with whom I have worked with the past 3.5 years. Thank you, Andrew. Well, there you go. One thing that I really love about Andrew is just how transparent he is. There is no secrets. He doesn't hold anything back. He's very upfront and honest with his customers about everything that's going on with his operation. That's what I really love about him. He provides an honest product and honest updates. The past couple years has been tough, to say the least. Like my buddy Take O says though, we are rooting for guys like Andrew. We want to see guys like Andrew succeed because they work hard, they deliver tremendous value to this community, and for that reason I would ask anybody who's interested, please check out Parkhurst Boots. Obviously they would really love the support right now, especially coming after the last 2 years. I don't need to tell you that the last 2 years have been very hard on businesses, especially small businesses. So please give Parkhurst a look and please buy a pair. I don't get commission. I'm not making any money. I just truly love this brand. I think what Andrew's doing is a phenomenal thing. It's very inspirational. And in fact, I talk to him from time to time. I'm actually sending him some of my products to sample to see if he will possibly be interested in doing a collaboration or something. It's very exciting. We're thinking of maybe doing like some Dale's Leatherworks cuffs, sending them in tandem with some of his boots. We're still figuring that out, but hopefully that goes someplace. I hope that would be really exciting. So in addition to the Elmwood in mahogany, which is, I just love the color of this leather. This is just a Grail Chelsea right here for me. It's that perfect chocolate warm brown that will just go with literally everything. Super easy to wear. They're super comfortable. I wore them all day today. And in fact, I actually was driving today on the highway. I got a flat tire. I chose the wrong day to wear khakis, but I did pull over. I did change out my tire with the spare. I did it in the dark, and I did it in these boots. These boots got me through. They were so supportive. Thankfully, I didn't nick them up too bad. As you can see, I think it got a little scratched back here and here, as well as on the vamp here, but that's no problem. That's gonna buff out really easily. These boots can take it. This leather, I've never experienced this type of leather before, but I can tell you already it is similar to Chrome XL, and a little buffing and a little Venetian will go a long way with this stuff. This stuff is built for the long haul. What else is really cool about it is it's got a 360-degree Goodyear welt, absolutely beautifully done, along with a split reverse welt. It's not a storm welt, it's a split reverse welt. A storm welt is like a folded lip, whereas the split reverse welt exposes the raw leather edge. I'll try to show pictures of what I mean because it can be confusing, but when you see it, it's very obvious the difference between a split reverse welt and a storm welt. I really love that he chose the It's Hide Commando sole, this toothy lug commando sole. I have a lot of Trumans on this sole. It's one of the best lug commando soles out there in my opinion. The welt joint, very well done here. Flawless, just flawless stitching. The back heel stay has a separate strip of leather. Everything about this design is just so beautiful and elegant. If I were to design my own Chelsea, this is probably exactly how I would have designed it myself. So I think Andrew really nailed the specs on this one. They also offer the Elmwood in matte black. I was also tempted by this pair, but I do have a pair of black Chelseas already. The matte black, so the upper leather is a vegetable tan calfskin from Spain. It's a rugged, full grain, full vegetable tan bovine leather, which comes out incredibly soft and supple. And by the look of it, yeah, that's a beautiful leather. It's almost got like more of a charcoal look about it. It's not fully black. It might not be fully struck through. So what you can do is you could really polish it up and shine it up, or you could ride it out and expose what looks like might be a T-core coming out of there. Very awesome. The sole edge is stained, painted black to match the upper, which is nice, very nice. And then it's got a, yes, it's got a Vibram sole, which looks similar in some ways to the Ridgeway. Yeah, this Ridgeway sole. It almost looks like Vibram's version of the Ridgeway, if that makes sense. Yeah, very Ridgeway-esque. Lots of arbitrary sort of wavy patterns on the bottom, curvatures. This, by my eye, is Vibram's iteration of the Ridgeway. Yes, it's got a similar like toe that extends out in this line here, and then it's got this similar V here, and then it's got these similar V patterns here with a center V here and a heel pad back here. Very similar in design, but that's a new Vibram sole that I have not seen before. Also very exciting is Parkhurst just dropped 2 new other makeups. It's Parkhurst's first mock toe, and this model is called the Niagara, named after Niagara Falls, I think. I don't know, don't quote me on that. I assume since Andrew's in New York, close to Niagara Falls, it's probably named after the Niagara. And so the first new makeup of the Niagara is called Light Brown Waxy Commander, also on the 602 modified last, and this boot looks incredible. It's got that medium brown waxy commander, so rugged looking, so beautiful. It's got a faux mock toe stitched in there, similar to the Alden Indie boot. It's built on a commando sole. It's 360-degree welted. One thing that I'll say that it reminds me of immediately is this boot right here. This has been one of my favorite pairs of boots over the years. This is my Alden Vintage Indy boot, and I've long said that this is the best Indy. Now guess what? It's hard to get your hands on these. Leather Sole Hawaii sells this particular model, and they do runs every, like, I don't know, maybe twice a year, very rarely. And so if you were looking for something like this, which I do hail as the Grail mock toe because it's so rugged, it's got like, it's built on like this nubuck leather that really shows its wear over time, really patinates beautifully. It looks vintage when it's brand new, and it only looks more and more vintage as you wear it. This boot from Parkhurst is going to do the exact same thing. The Niagara boot in light brown Waxy Commander, I highly recommend it. In fact, I can't recommend it enough. I love Waxy Commander. It's from the Charles F. Stead tannery. It's a micro suede. It's very, very water resistant. It's basically waterproof. If you were looking for like a really cool Alden Indy version mock toe boot, that's the one that I would point anybody to right now, as long as supplies last, of course. And they also did the Niagara in this same mahogany leather. Wow, that is a beautiful pair of boots. And I will go ahead and compare the Niagara in mahogany to this Innsbruck Indy from Epaulet in New York City. This is in brown chrome XL. This is not the standard Indy 403 because it has a commando sole on there, brass eyelets. So, but these very much, to me, look to be a similar boot. These Niagara boots in mahogany are probably even better, I would say, because they have a lug commando sole. They also have a finished roll top edge similar to the Alden Indy. But again, the Alden Indy doesn't have a very good commando sole. It's a very superficial commando sole. You can see here. Compare that to what Parkhurst is using right now. Come on, look at that. Look at the lug differences. And while we're on the subject of sizing, so here we go. Left boot, Parkhurst Elmwood, 8.5, Alden Indy, 8.5. Yeah, both are a great fit. The Alden Indy is gonna probably be a little bit more rounded out in the toe there. But yeah, looks like the same length actually. Both are a half down, though the Indy does feel large on me. I feel like, similar to Grantstone, I could have gone a full down from Brannock and up a width. So, but for the Parkhurst, the half down standard is just one and done, easy sizing for me. No second guesses there. If you're looking for a mock toe and you don't want to drop $600 for an Alden Indy, you are in luck, because at Parkhurst you can get some outstanding mock toes for around $400. A way better value in my opinion. Way better value. Last but not least, so I promised some of my friends I'd start selling some more of my boots. Now that I have these Parkhurst Elmwoods in mahogany, I realized that these J. Crew Ore Stripe Collection Chelseas in brown are gonna no longer be needed, because I do have these. I do prefer these. These are both in 8.5. The sizing's basically equivalent. I don't know much about this leather. They've been lightly used, probably worn a total of about 5 times. They're extremely comfortable. I love them. They're built on a J. Crew rubber sole. They have a full grain midsole. They also have a split reverse welt in green, which is very attractive. 360-degree Goodyear welted, absolutely phenomenal. We've got this ore stripe pull tab back here. And what's really cool is the back heel stay is double layered. So you've got one layer of back heel stay and another layer of back heel stay on top of that. Adds a lot of support. So yes, I did not wear these very hard. They're not getting any use right now. These were on sale for about $300. I got them on sale, I think, for $200. I'd be willing to part with these for $150, but I'd be willing to negotiate on that. Would just like to find them a good home. They're a beautiful milk chocolate color, and I hate to part with them. I do have to start parting with boots that I just don't wear anymore. And so, being realistic, yes, I would like to sell these. You can DM me on Instagram. My username is AeroSurferLV if you're interested. Again, these are an 8.5, and you can see here that the sizing is basically identical with the Parkhurst. The J. Crew ones look like they're just a little longer than the Parkhurst, but there is a lot less volume in that toe box there. It looks like it's an unstructured toe. The Parkhurst toe box looks a little bit more structured, a little bit more volume. So I would recommend this. If you're an 8.5 in Parkhurst, you'd be able to fit these comfortably, especially if you're a 9D Brannock like me. I wear 8.5 in almost every boot brand. These are 8.5. It's a perfect fit for my foot. So yes, once again, DM me if you're interested. Here's the right boot. Yeah, they're identical. I wouldn't do any different sizing in these than I would in these, so if that's any reconciliation. But yeah, if you're interested in these, I'll ship them off to you. I'll throw in a really cool keychain from Dale's Leatherworks if you want. Maybe a set of cuffs too if you're interested. But yeah, looking for a good home for these, so please, if you're interested, DM me on Instagram. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. What do you think about these new boots from Parkhurst, and what do you think about Parkhurst's future? I'm very excited to see what Andrew does next. I can't believe just how far he's come as a brand and what he's been able to overcome in the last 2 years. I think that's a mark of true dedication to be able to pull through everything they pulled through and are still going strong and are still excited and are still providing exciting offerings for all of us boot lovers. So anyways, please go give Parkhurst a look. There's a lot to be interested in with them right now, that's for sure. Keep your eyes peeled. Next month, they're gonna be dropping some new makeups. Can't wait to see what those are. I have no clue. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see y'all in my next video.